Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2002 Steven Seagal action film, Half Past Dead. The film is written and directed by Don Michael Paul and it stars, of course, Steven Seagal. We've got Morris Chestnut and Ja Rule. Right, okay, the film focuses on Seagal's character, Sasha Petrovich. He is an undercover agent. We see at the beginning of the film that he has developed a friendship with Ja Rule's character, who is a criminal, essentially. He and Ja Rule ends up getting captured and sent to prison, and he's delighted to see that when he gets to prison, his good friend, Sasha, Steven Seagal's character, is in the prison with him as well. So that's a stroke of luck. However, Seagal is an undercover agent. He has been sent to the prison for to do like an undercover investigation. Now, this prison is Alcatraz, that has been souped up to be the most sophisticated prison in America. There is one special prisoner in this prison. This prisoner knows the location of a huge fortune that he stole 10 years previously, I think it is. And these criminals break into the prison on the day he is being executed to get the location of this fortune. They take over Alcatraz, take prisoners, high-profile prisoners, and demand to know where he has hidden this fortune. But they didn't plan on Steven Seagal and Ja Rule being in this prison. And they decide they're going to kick a little bit of ass. Right, what are my thoughts on Half Past Dead? Right, okay, I do want to start this review by saying, when I was younger, I was a big fan of Steven Seagal. Especially his 80s and early 90s stuff. You know, when he first came on the scene, he was, I think, a breath of fresh air for the action genre. You know, he brought something different. His martial arts had never been seen really on screen before. And he brought, there was like this rawness and brutality to his action films that, you know, they really, really spoke to me, his early action films. And he was on a real roll for a number of years. And then it fell off, basically. A lot of it was due to him and his attitude and that kind of stuff, his ego. And there's numerous articles, videos, interviews out there where people are not particularly complimentary, shall we say, towards Steven Seagal and his behaviours. So, with that being said, I mean, like I say, I'm a big fan, and I have done on this channel a number of Steven Seagal reviews over the years. And a lot of them are his classics, you know, the Under Sieges and the Marked for Deaths and Out for Justice and all that kind of stuff. Hard to Kill. But when you get to his later catalogue, I think it's fair to say that he has not governed himself in glory. And I've probably been quite diplomatic in the past on some of his performances and films. Well, that ends today because, sorry guys, this was absolute fucking garbage. I don't actually remember seeing this before, and if I did, I've probably psychologically, for the benefit of my sanity in psychology, I've probably pushed it out of my brain. Because this was terrible. Okay, so there was no originality to it. It's a prison film, people breaking into the prison to do this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. It's been done numerous times, you know, The Rock, you name it, over and over again. Prison films, Alcatraz films. And then we have clearly got to the stage now in Seagal's career where he's enjoying an all-you-can-eat buffet. Now, I'm no one to speak on those sort of things, but I wasn't a Hollywood star and aren't a Hollywood star. He's looking a little bit chunky in this film, I think it's fair to say. And his action scenes, if you can call them that, in this film are so abysmally edited that obviously to cover up his shortcomings and the fact that some of it's not even him, quite clearly some of it's not even him. There's scenes in this film with Seagal climbing like a rope to get through the ceiling up there. I don't care how long you gave him, and even if you put a gun to his head, Steven Seagal was not going to climb that rope. It was just, he just wasn't going to do it. And he does other things in this film that clearly he can't do and wasn't able to do. I think if they'd have kept the action scenes with him a little bit more grounded, a little bit more believable, and slowed it down a little bit so you can actually see what's going on. It's all up close and quick edits, and the action scenes are awful. I mean, awful in this film. The best martial artist in this film, by far, was Nia Peebles, who played one of the bad guys. Pretty woman, playing the pretty bad guy woman, the hard woman that you see in a lot of these films, certainly at the time. And she actually, I think, is probably the best thing in this film, if I'm being particularly honest. I liked her performance. I believed her badassery sort of thing. And the martial arts that she displayed on screen was infinitely better than any other action that I saw in this film. But this is a Steven Seagal film. And he's awful in this film. I mean, apparently, at this stage in his career, he was travelling everywhere with a Buddhist advisor. So he was apparently absolute a nightmare on the film set. I mean, he's been a nightmare on most of his film sets, but in this one he was, because he had this Buddhist advisor with him that, depending on what this Buddhist advisor told Seagal, determined whether he would turn up to set that day or not, because he didn't want anything interrupting his karma that day. What an arse. And then we've got this Seagal acting performance where he's wearing a do-rag on his head and acting like some urban black man. It's cringeworthy. I honestly, absolutely cringeworthy seeing him acting, trying to act all cool and urban. It's really, really bad. And then you've got Ja Rule. Now, I don't know who Ja Rule is. I'm presuming he's some kind of rapper, or he was. And he looks about 5'6", and he was about as believable a hard man as most toddlers would be. You know what I mean? And his acting was just shockingly bad. This film was a real struggle to get through. Even being as charitable as I could be towards Seagal, because, I did really enjoy and still do enjoy a lot of his early work. This is clearly the beginning of his slippery slope downhill. In actual fact, I think this was his last theatrical release until Machete came out 10 years later, something like that. This I did not enjoy at all. I was gobsmacked as to how poor it was. This is not a Steven Seagal classic, really. Even if, I would love to hear from you guys. If anybody who watches this who's a die-hard Steven Seagal fan, can you tell me why you may like this film? Because I really struggled to find any positives, really, in this one, because it was just, I think, so poorly made. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Half Past Dead. Let me know your thoughts if you've seen it, and I will of course be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.